Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming in from. We are back now to follow up with these on this Henning trial. This is the military family that was based out of Fort Knox in Kentucky, and the father unalived the mother in the home while the children were there. Yesterday, we watched the clips that we can get on this from Court TV, and today we're going to resume with watching what else they've put out. I want to say they're probably in day 4 of the trial. I'm not positive on that, but we've only seen bits and pieces. Now, yesterday, we saw the attorney basically being told by the judge to sit down and shut up. And that part was kind of, we had, a few of us had James Owens flashbacks on that one. But then they brought up the wife friends, the victim's friend, who was obviously taking it upon herself to stand up for this victim and speak her truth in court. The problem was she kind of stepped on everybody's toes a little bit. I think that I'm going to be honest with you guys. I thought I liked her. I liked her. If, like I said, if it was me that was the victim and I had a friend that's going to step up and do this, I would be like, you go girl, get them. A lot of you guys, though, surprised me in saying that, nope, she overstepped her boundaries. She shouldn't have done that. It made her look bad. Anyway, if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. I'll put the link in the description of this video. But then on Sunday night, the judge receives a motion from the defense to recuse himself from the trial. So why does he want him to come off the bench? Well, he's saying that he should have taken better control of that witness and not allowed that witness to walk over the defense attorney. So here's the judge's response to that.
Motion to recuse, and I'll address each one of them specifically. I agree, Mr. Eggert. Just to be honest with you, maybe the court should have stepped in a little bit with Ms. Savat the other day. However, Mr. Eggert, you did not indicate you wanted any type of admonition whatsoever during those proceedings. The court is always loath to step in. I've stated it many times before, when you are in here in front of a jury, that's it's your time to shine. I just sit back, and unless asked, I do not offer any type of refereeing, whether that be ruling on motions or otherwise. Some of that, as you know, you've been around long enough, how you are addressing a witness on cross-examination may be done for your benefit, unless it goes absolutely over bounds, unless you state something that you wish for me to admonish a witness. I usually let it go because indeed you have the right to cross-examine that witness as you see fit. You didn't ask for anything whatsoever during that witness's testimony, so the court did not indulge. If you would have asked, the court would most likely indulge. The rest of these are, again, rulings that I've already made. The 404B, I would say the issue about the recusal, or not the recusal, but the mistrial for the sheriff's department having the information on the post. The discussing about milling around the jury, offers from defense counsel. Again, all of these, except for the one about milling around the jury, are rulings made. If a judge had to recuse for rulings made against one party or another as they went through a case, I don't think any judge would continue on. I've made rulings against the Commonwealth in this case. I've made rulings against information from the defendant. I guess the only other one don't see how addressing the information that somebody possibly had communication or was attempting to communicate jurors when the jury's not in here. I don't guess I know how that, because yes, I would put them in jail along with their son if they are out there speaking to the jury, which I've told everybody not to do. So that has nothing to do, I'd put anybody in jail. There's been nothing from anybody else. That was the only people that have been indicated that they have been, quote, milling about the jury. So the motion to recuse is denied for those grounds, for those reasons.
Well, I guess as a defense attorney, you have to do what you have to do to try to get your client off. But again, kind of James Owens-esque, in my opinion. Now, this happened last week, this particular piece we're going to see right here. And this was a neighbor that had been talking with the defendant for quite some time. This is, you guys, this defendant, he had some issues going on. The more I hear about the things that he said to other people, it sounds like he had some inner rage. Let's listen in.
Mr. Watts, thank you for coming back. Appreciate your earlier testimony. There are some things that have come up that we couldn't address earlier, and I want to ask you, I'm not going to have you here nearly as long as we did before, okay?
Okay.
Are you familiar with the idea of a top 10 list with Mr. Henning?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what you know about that?
It came up on multiple occasions. The idea is that if the world were to come to an end for any number of reasons, whether it's societal collapse or apocalypse event, that he will be protecting himself and looking out for himself first. And his list was the people that he deemed to be a threat, that or could have supplies that he could use.
Okay. You know, you said it came up several times. Did it come up close in time to June 26th of 2023?
The last time we talked about it was the Saturday before that. We were having to get together, and it came up then.
How did it make you feel talking about this?
I'll sustain it to the extent, maybe a better foundation. I'll sustain it to right now.
Sure. Do you know who all, he has a top 10 list of people he's going to take out. Do you know who the 10 people were?
Not in any particular order. And he didn't discuss specifics, but he hinted to his next door neighbor and my next door neighbor and the neighbor behind me would be on that list in no particular order.
And the other 7 could be anybody.
Yes.
Were you on that list?
When asked,
Did you ask him if you were on that list?
I was not told that I was on the list,
Were you told why you weren't on the list?
that I didn't have anything that would be of value, and I was not a threat.
What about his family?
At one point, he said his family would be just fine until they became a hindrance, and that Carter, the youngest, would be the only one to survive because he could pull his weight.
Were you uncomfortable with these discussions?
Yes, sir.
I knew we would approach it, so.
Okay.
I don't watch court TV on TV anymore. I watch it all on YouTube, but I'm curious if once they show it on TV, do they then put it up on YouTube? Because there's a lot of this that we've missed. And I'm only pulling up clips that are put out on YouTube because I don't think I can show anything from their TV. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can take it from their website. If you know differently, please let me know, because this trial has really gotten, I'm interested. I'm in it. I think you guys are too. They did show some more video. I noticed that. They put this out. This gives us a different perspective, because before, when we were watching that first video, we only saw the angle from next to the stairs. But this video that they put out earlier today, it shows the other angle from the kitchen area. So let's watch that really quick. I think it clears some things up for us, because we were confused about what was going on. Can you imagine this mother's last moments? Worried about her children, like, she's scared for her own life, but what's he going to do to her kids? This is horrific.
Friday, the jury saw video of the moments leading up to the shooting of Ashley Henning, as she and her husband, Jordan, were arguing in their kitchen after Ashley's birthday party. Things escalated quickly.
The jury's been judging him, looking at him, even though he's cloaked in innocence until proven guilty. That's pretty straightforward. And I mean, I hate to say it, but the whole party, I'm sure there was drinking. It's the recipe for every domestic argument, whether it's, you embarrassed me or you talked to me in front of me, and it spirals downward. I mean, and I'll tell you, it looked like maybe the gun jammed at the end and he had to go back and rechamber or something when he comes toward the camera, though. But I don't know what he could possibly say to get out from under conviction. I mean, maybe some kind of mitigation going toward ultimately sentencing or some type of remorse. But, I always tell you how, you try to hang one juror on the defense side. And I don't see how you get one juror from what I've seen.
And in the opening statements, they said that he spit on her after he shot her the last time. All right, so now they want to talk about whether or not they think he's going to testify. I want to hear what Tommy says about that.
I think he's going to have some corroboration. I just think him saying it's not enough. We always say, what everybody sees of our personal life is like your highlight reel. We see the Pope smiling, going to church. We didn't see Tommy yelling at everybody to get in the car so we'd go worship Jesus. You miss those parts. But if
I love him.
If you've got some inside friends that could say that, I mean, it could give it a little bit of traction. But, there's another strange dynamic. That's my understanding. She was ranked higher than him. I mean, I hate to say it in our society in this day, but, I see it with spouses where the wife makes more than the husband. And sometimes there's a weird dynamic there. So there's probably a piece of that, too.
Yep, that's probably right. Well, guess what, guys? He did get up on the stand. Someone made the comment yesterday that they said, wow, he's lost a lot of weight. He looks a lot skinnier than he did. He was buffer back then. Since he's been in jail, he's lost probably a lot of muscle. All right. We're probably not going to get the full testimony. It would be nice if we did, but this is a 30-minute long video, so maybe we got most of it. I'm sorry to jump around on you guys, but before we get into that, let's listen to what the psychologist said. Obviously, the prosecution is rested. It looks like this is the defense. The defense's witness.
I was
manipulative behavior, anything of that nature.
And what you reviewed would be inconsistent with what led us to be here. Is that a fair statement?
That would be fair.
Okay. Now, you also reviewed the security videos.
Yes, sir.
That the jury has seen. And I would also inform you that there's been testimony here that that night, he was in a rage and he couldn't even see what was in front of him. Would that be consistent with an extreme emotional disturbance?
It would. It would.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, I think just by definition, just that state of being, so enraged, inflamed, that it does impact your rational thinking, your judgment, and so you're not, processing and working in a normal way cognitively.
Are there any other documents that you reviewed to prepare for your testimony today?
Again, those military statements, military records, some of the trainings in there, I thought were very, and again, being in the military myself, I can attest to some of the training and how it is intended to work reflexively almost. So in his records, you'll see some training for reflexive fire training, right? And a lot of weapons training. And what that is the way the Army trains or the way the military trains is that they want it to be second nature. They want it to be something you don't have to think about, something that you just do. They train for what they used to call muscle memory, so that when you're in a high stress situation in a place where you can't think rationally, that kicks in, right?
Well, let me use this example, Doctor, and I'll let you continue. But if I'm in the National Training Center, you're familiar with that?
Yes, sir.
I call it combat school.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're in actual combat,
Mm-hmm.
and there's somebody over there shooting at me, I don't really have time to consider, well, I wonder what kind of guy this is, how many children he has.
Sure.
Do you have time to do that?
No.
And this is for the reflexive.
Well, yes. So that's where the reflexive comes in. Again, it's training for automaticity or reflexivity, so that you are responding, your body's responding, and again, it's muscle memory. It's like pulling on more procedural memory versus more declarative memory, where you're doing a procedure, you're doing an overlearned act. And, for example, in weapons training, you learn, you do hours and hours of drills and things like that, so that, so if you have a weapons malfunction, you perform a certain task, you perform sports, right? Which is how you clear a weapons malfunction. And you do it over and over and over again to the point where when something happens, you just kind of go through it and you're not actually thinking about it in a declarative way, in a way that you can describe. You're just kind of procedurally doing it. Kind of like if you're driving a route that you've driven over and over again. Your mind can wander, and you're still going on that route. So you don't have to think about it as much, or riding a bike.
The triggering events that you discussed, well, strike that. Are you aware that Jordan Henning has been at the National Training Center or Combat School 9 separate times?
But yes, I've been told that.
And as you know, the fact that he had been so many times, well, first of all, is that a lot?
It's a lot.
Okay. The fact that he has been so many times, that heightened his reflexivity, as you call it, especially when you perceive a threat.
Yeah. I think the more you do it, the more reflexive it becomes, the more ingrained, the more muscle memory kind of kicks in.
Doctor, again, after we've gone over these documents, tell us again what your opinion was, please.
My opinion was that on that day, that Mr. Henning experienced this extreme emotional disturbance, just based on, again, not a flashpoint, but just kind of a gradual building of stressors and triggers, again, from families, the family stuff that was going on, the alcohol, possible testosterone, the altercation in his backyard, and eventually it led to that disturbance.
Yeah. And Doctor, the materials that you reviewed and you relied on, are those the usual and customary materials that people in your profession rely on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Before cross-examination.
Okay, this is going to be a sensitive topic because I don't want to take away from anybody who served time in the military, and I have no idea, and I can't even speak upon what they have seen if they've been in combat. That, to me, is something, I'll leave that up to the experts. Now, I can't blame his defense attorney for bringing that in if he has it or if he doesn't have it. It would be a good defense, because if I'm sitting on the jury and I'm listening to all of this and I'm thinking, okay, well, I think for me, it would give me sympathy towards the defendant. So to go down that route, you can't blame the defense for doing that. But I also now go back to this video coverage that we watched, this body cam video, and I don't know, you guys. He sits there and cries and claims that she demeaned him in public and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. It seems to me almost, from what everything's being said, it was more him always barking at her about what to do. I'm confused about that. Well, Monday, he got up in court and testified. Y'all ready for this? Let's watch what happens.
What do you say to those things, the audio and the video?
They're horrible. They're disgusting. I destroyed lives that day, and the people I loved, and I can't bring that back, and I can't fix this situation, and I'm sorry, and I know that'll never be enough.
Let's go back into the courtroom now. We're picking it up where we left off. Henning is talking about that birthday party where everything seemed normal. His parents called to wish his wife a happy birthday, sang her a song, and then this.
Everybody's kind of like going to Google's. It's starting to get dark, and so.
At any point did you try to make a gesture of affection to Ashley?
I did. When my parents called, she was sitting on the back porch, and she was out there with Jessica, and if I'm not mistaken, Dakota and Andrew, Jessica's son, came out with us, but I tried to rub her shoulder. She kept shrugging me off, touch me, that kind of thing, and that's, I believe, the time that I tried to touch her then.
You had talked about sex previously in your in testimony, but apart from sex, was there intimacy in this relationship, affection?
No, Ashley, she wasn't. Her love language is acts of service and quality time. And so it was really hard at times for us to connect, especially with mine being physical touch. She just, a lot of times, just didn't want to be touched. So we weren't really physically intimate.
What did she say when you did try to touch her that evening?
Get off me.
What happened next?
I took that phone call. Everyone was congregating in the driveway. We were talking about Jessica's wedding that was coming up. And my general had a rule, and I truly believe and followed this, that not business casual isn't the same for everybody. Some people want jeans, some people want khakis. It's, suit and tie or suit without a tie. And so I was showing her, she was the bride, with her permission, hey, is this okay? And it was pictures of me and Ashley, and just outfits we had worn. I was like, hey, is it okay to wear this kind of stuff to your wedding? Like, because I don't know, it was in another state, so I didn't know what would be allowed or what she preferred. It was her day. And she's like, no, that one's fine. I forget which one she pointed to, but she was like, that one's fine. Everyone starts to get in their car. And I walk over to Ashley and, we're waving and saying our goodbyes. And I put my hand up on her neck and her shoulder again. And she shrugged me off. She's like, stop touching me. Okay. And that's where you hear her start to go into the house on the video. And that's the events that followed.
I wonder, because remember, there's alcohol involved. They were at a birthday party. The neighbors were over. Everybody was drinking. And, he could have done something at the party that just ticked her off. You know how women, we get, irritated with men, and we're not going to tell them what's wrong. But my God, what did he just do now? And maybe that was what lit the spark of it all.
We go into the house and we start cleaning up. And, I told her, I was like, hey, I just want to, what do you want me to clean up? Like, I just want to do something nice for you. Like, it seemed like you accept I just remember thinking like you accept everybody else's love and gifts and everything else, but like constantly rejecting me.
I apologize for interrupting back to back like this, but I just have to say something. I'm calling BS on this. We saw his demeanor in that video. He was angry. He did not look like he was sad or had been put down. He looked mad. He looked angry. He was not emotionally, his feelings weren't hurt. He was angry. If his feelings were hurt, he was taking it out on anger. So I'm calling BS on this.
And, I asked her, I was like, please let me do this. Let me serve you. She told me just clean something up. And so I go down to the basement. We were taking glasses down to the basement from the bars. We had a lot of stuff, a lot of that stuff. And then I remember hearing her screaming my name. I was just thinking, what did I do? What did I do now? And she was saying about this slip and slide that we talked about with Carter and the kids earlier that day, that, hey, if you're going to bring it out, and we all agreed, me, her, and him, that, hey, if he's going to bring this out, he needs to put it away. She wanted to do it for him, and I wasn't okay with that. Like, no, we agreed on this. Like, his parents were supposed to be united, and I was upset at her for, just overriding me. It's just, she overruled me on everything, it felt like, and so I started yelling for Carter, and he's up in the shower, and he's on a whole other floor. You got Tyler playing his computer, playing his Xbox, and Carter's in the water, and so I'm yelling loud, and yes, I was upset, and I was yelling, and when we go outside, Carter, I'm trying to show him, like, hey, this is where I was pointing to the drain spout on this slip and slide because it would collect water in the end of it, and she's out there with us, and that's I kept telling him, he's like, where is it? Because it's getting dark. And I was like, it's right here. I was frustrated. And that's when she grabbed me around my balls and started smacking me. And I started telling her, let go, stop, please, let go. And I'm yelling at her. And she's pulling me from where the slip and slide was set up over to kind of the porch area. And as she's pulling me, I went to reach out for the banister, and I didn't grab the banister. I grabbed Carter, and somehow he ended up in between us, and I heard him scream. I had finally gotten a hold of her wrist, and I pried her off of me, and I restrained her wrist up by her head, and I said, stop. And she had told him to go get Jimmy. We're arguing, and Jamie comes over and starts screaming at me, get off of her. And when I finally let up and let go of her wrist and stood up, he shoved me down onto my steps. And I just remember thinking, like, dude, you don't even know what's going on. Like, you don't understand even how we got to this point. Like, what are you attacking me for? I wasn't sitting on top of her, hitting her. I wasn't hurting her. I was just holding her wrist down. And when he shoved me down, she told him to run. And I don't know. I just took off after her. Like, I was upset. I was mad.
I really wish we could hear more from the neighbor that he called over there, because I don't think we got enough of it. But it's hopefully we'll be able to give me some time. I'm going to try to put all this together. If not during the trial, then probably maybe while they're doing a verdict watch or something. Let's continue watching him on the stand.
Put him into a combative headlock, and I just held him there until he would stop. Just stop. And finally, he was tapping my leg, and I let him go, and he was like, I'm grabbing my fucking gun. And I don't know, I was scared. I took off as fast as I could upstairs to my room where I had my pistol. And I remember grabbing my pistol and my spare magazine and just thinking, like, this is how I'm going to die. Like, my friend is going to kill me. And I ran back downstairs, and I didn't know where he went. I didn't know if he had left the property. I didn't know. And so I'm outside, and I was just mad. I was scared. I don't know. And I just remember seeing him and Chris Becker and Chris's truck pull up, and Chris Becker and him coming over, and I saw that he had something in his hand, and it looked like a gun. And then I don't know. A lot of it's a blur. I was so fucking mad, and I was just upset, and my wife had just attacked me yet again, and I didn't know what else she would do, and I thought my friend was going to kill me over it. I didn't know what was going on, and it was just chaos. And I just broke. I don't know. Next thing I remember, I'm standing over top of her shooting. I didn't know how I got to that point, or what was going on. I didn't know it. I didn't understand how we got there, and so I was just scared, and I don't know. I remember at one point being in my car, and then the cop was arresting me, and I don't know. It comes in snippets, and it's just hard. It's hard to describe because you don't. I just don't remember it all. It was so much chaos. I don't know.
Just to back up just a bit, when you said she grabbed your testicles, was this inside the house, or was it outside, or was it on the deck?
So it's when we were outside with the slip and slide. We were there, and it's when she pulled me over to the deck.
And at some point on video, can you hear Carter say something or do something?
I don't remember.
Okay. All right. She pulls you over there. What are you saying to her as best you can remember?
Can you say that again, sir?
What are you saying to her as best you can as she's grabbing your testicle?
I'm telling her to let go and stop, let go, let go. She just wouldn't.
How did you get her to stop?
I grabbed her wrist. I just yanked her off of me.
Is that when Watts comes?
That's when he came over after that, yes.
And he sees her on the deck?
I don't know what he sees.
Okay.
I can't say.
Go ahead.
I can't speak for him.
When he leaves, what do you think he's doing?
Exactly what he said he would do. I thought he was grabbing his gun.
Until he comes over and does that, did you have a gun on you?
No.
How many guns did you have in the house?
I had my pistol, and then we had a BB gun that we kept downstairs.
A pistol and a BB gun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you get your pistol, is that right?
Yes, sir.
What do you then see after that when you have your pistol?
After I went back downstairs, I'd seen Jimmy and Chris.
Okay, you keep mentioning Chris. Are you sure you saw two people? Do you believe you saw two people?
Yes, I saw Jimmy for sure when he came back, and it was Chris Becker.
And who is Chris Becker?
He's another guy that we would hang out with. He lived down the road. That's why I remember it being so weird that he was there. Where did he come from?
Was his vehicle there, Ford F-150?
Say that again?
Was his vehicle there?
It was he had a black truck, yes.
Black truck? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you think you see two people, not just Watts, but somebody else?
Yes.
In your mind, what is going on?
It's just, at that time, I was just mad that my friend had attacked, that we got into a fight in my yard, and then he said he was going to kill me over this. Like, he didn't even understand what was going on. And I was scared.
We've seen the video, heard the audio, okay?
Yes, sir.
And honestly, sir, you'll agree it's just very difficult to watch and hear.
Yes, it's extremely difficult to watch.
I want to ask you about, though, some of the things yelling at Carter. How did you view Carter?
All my kids were my world. Carter, he was my little mini-me. He always wanted to do stuff just like me. He always just kept saying, I want to be just like Daddy. Even anytime I would get a new Army PC, he would take my old one and he'd wear it around and play soldier. He's the son I always wanted, and I loved him so much. I just can't believe I hurt him.
When you're yelling there at Carter, you think you were maybe beginning to lose it?
Yeah, I was, I don't know, I was just mad at Ashley, and she just kept rejecting me and just dismissing me. I don't know, I was upset. And when I was yelling at Carter, yelling for Carter, and I don't know.
Now, you understand the Commonwealth say, well, when you shot the last shot, you must have been thinking about it. Were you really thinking at this point? Were you in control?
No, I wasn't thinking at all.
Did you have any judgment at this point?
No.
When you left, how did the police end up arresting you?
I don't really remember. I just remember being thrown in the back of the car, and I don't know. I just remember I was in my car, and then they yelled, "Stick your hands out!" and somehow I was on my knees, and then I was arrested, and I don't know. It comes in snippets, and it's hard to piece together at times.
Now, I want to ask you, at some point you threw the gun, is that right?
Yes.
According to the video. What were you taught about weapons in the military?
So, are you talking about like if an enemy combatant has one, or?
Yes.
So just if they even have one in the area, if they're not allowed to, it's what we consider hostile intent. If they point it at you, hostile action. If they fire it, it's a hostile action. If they're showing it, threatening to use it, things like that. You kind of read the situation. Just don't think. You just have to react to it.
Understood. This all happens, I guess, in less than 30 minutes. Honest to God, during this 30 minutes, are you making calculations, thinking, planning, anything like that?
No.
What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just reacting.
You're arrested that night, right?
Say again?
You're arrested that night?
Yes, sir.
Had you ever been arrested before?
No, sir.
How about as a juvenile?
No, sir.
I mean, for anything, anywhere.
Never been in trouble more than a speeding ticket in my entire life.
How old are you?
34.
Just some of the things at least going through your mind that night, okay? Did you believe Watts had said he was going to get a weapon?
Yes, I did.
Do you think Watts came back on your property? Did you believe that anyway, with a weapon?
Yes, I did.
Did you believe that there was a second person there as well?
Yes, I did.
Did you think, for whatever reason, that you were in danger? Did you think you were in danger?
I absolutely thought that.
Is there any doubt about you, the testicles and you being pulled by the testicles? Was there any doubt in your mind that had happened?
No.
I know she grabbed you by the testicles before. Was this worse, better? What was different about this?
The worst it's ever happened. I've never been drugged 10 feet by. I just couldn't get her off of me. It just wouldn't let go.
Until Watts said he was going to get a gun, did you even have a gun on you that night?
No, I didn't.
Do you? You understand? You killed somebody that night. You understand that?
Yeah, I do.
You believe you broke that night, Jordan?
I watched myself on that video, yes. I don't know who that was. I've never done that or been like that, ever. Well, that's what makes it so hard to watch.
I'm sorry, what?
So that's what makes it really hard to watch. Yeah, I don't know who that was.
I can just have a moment. Yeah, stated a couple of things. You stated the video is really hard to watch and really hard to hear, okay? Would you agree it's horrible?
So,
You understand that when I sit down, they're going to ask you questions and you're going to have to hear and see that. Do you understand that? They're going to ask you questions about it.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, that night, I forget whether I used the word broke or snapped, but do you think you did both? You broke and you snapped?
yeah.
All right.
I would not want to be a jury on this one. I know we can go by what that woman said, her friend. I just, to put somebody, I don't, guys, I could not do this. I could not be a juror on this and feel like I was doing the right thing. How do you guys feel about it? Put it in the comments or put it in the chat. I'll have this up on Premiere so y'all can chat back and forth. There's more coverage of him being on the stand, and I'm going to get to that in the next video. This is why people like me who are easily influenced should not be on the jury. I hate to say it like that, but I just don't know. Like I feel like he's faking it. I feel like some of it's BS, and I feel like some of it's his attorney making stuff, But I'm stumped on this one. I really am. I need to see more. I haven't seen enough. We haven't seen everything the jury has seen, and that's what's kind of makes it more difficult for us anyway. I'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Don't go far. Until then. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and feel free to leave a comment. Have a blessed day.